Hello and welcome to Gaming Knuckleheads Talk, the show where the community decides on at any given point in time should we end up putting Matt in the corner. And by that I do mean maybe give him a pseudo timeout. I press the button and then I bring him back in. Okay, I'm done picking on Matt for now. Well, we got good topics for tonight. And we're going to start, we're going to have Matt get the ball rolling on the very first one. What rare games do you or have you owned at any given time?
Well, I would say the two most rare games that I've owned are Persona 2 for the original PlayStation.
Yep.
And I sold it for like $200. And I had also Dragon Quest V for the original Nintendo DS.
Right.
And that sold for $135.
I got to put a cap on what, if a game is just overly expensive because of how old it is, but not necessarily rare, does that constitute rare?
It just depends on how valued it is in the market.
Right, because I know in some cases people just like to jack up prices because it's a retro title. And as in my opinion, rare means it's very hard to come by. Like retro collectors don't get it very often. Retro game stores may or may not have it. Like I wanted to get an official copy of Knights of the Round for the Super Nintendo. And that goes for like over $100.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's rare, but more obscure. And in order to afford it, I ended up springing for a repro cartridge. Yeah. And I really don't know how much it classifies as rare anymore to begin with, now that it's back on the map in the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle anyway. Get that and a handful of other games for like $20, so, you know. Yeah, but, in terms of, games that can be a little bit pricey and expensive, I do still have my old copies of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and, those are going for, like, $800 plus now, thanks to Game Freak's fuck knuckling around. In terms of other rare titles, I'm kind of iffy, because my Sega Genesis collection mostly consists of Sonics 1 through 3, Knuckles, Rystar, Echo the Dolphin, Columns, Altered Beast, Mean Bean Machine, and Gunstar Heroes. And I don't know how many of those qualify as rare titles. But.
Well, I think a lot of those don't qualify as rare anymore, since you can get emulated versions on the Sega collection, for Switch.
Yeah,
I know that.
I know that Gunstar Heroes made it to the 3DS under the Sega 3D Classics, but it wasn't included in the physical full game. So it's no longer available through legal means unless you're able to purchase an actual Genesis cartridge.
No. You can still get it. It's in the Sega Genesis collection.
Which Sega Genesis collection?
I think it's just called the Sega Classics Collection, but it's for Switch.
Oh, right! Fuck, you are right. I completely forgot. It's like 99 cents on Steam. It's on my wish list because I'm too lazy to drop $1 on it. I thought I could do that. I have $2 in my Steam library right now that I'm not using for anything.
Yeah.
I always forget it's there. I'm thinking actual hook up to the TV console, put in your pocket, and carry around handheld at the moment.
Yeah.
Where's my brain at? You, Brent, what do you got? Rare. Have owned or do own? Or do. Excuse me.
Truth be told, I gotta say, I'm probably the exemption in this one because I don't really have anything that I would consider rare per se. I mean, before emulation, maybe you could consider some of the stuff that my family still has because those my family, even though I'm not sure if it's still usable, still has the old and old Nintendo and the old Super Nintendo and all those games that came with it. But nowadays you can
the NES is still usable because That would be that if it. I mean, like my Super Nintendo, I've had it since 2013, but I played on it since I was 7 because it belonged to a childhood friend of mine. And despite it being a little bit yellowed in the plastic, it is still in perfect working condition.
Well, I'll check next time I'm down there. But thing is that nowadays, as you guys were saying with emulation nowadays, like they're not exactly rare because you can basically play them either like through an emulator on a computer or through like a through like say like through like any of Nintendo's services or any like other ones like Xbox has the Game Pass and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, not really anything that technically can be considered rare on my end.
Yeah, I'd say the closest thing that I have to rare in GameCube terms is the Mario Party games because those are hard to come by unless you get like a disc damaged copy.
Yeah.
But in terms of rare N64 titles, you see what I did there?
Yeah, get out of here.
Yes, sir. Goodbye. I have Conker's Bad Fur Day on loan from our friend Stefan. Well, I have his N64. Still trying to get that Weasel minigame set up for like a video. Just 2 people short of having a good deck of 4 people.
Yeah.
Yep. Still got to figure out what to do about the controller issues we all experienced with Mario Party 3, though. Yeah, in terms of rare games, I'm not really sure exactly what in my library qualifies as rare, and that's between Genesis, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color. Very limited number on that. DS, 3DS, GameCube, Wii, and Wii U. So
Well, I do know that as the systems get older, they can become rare or they can become very cheap. It just depends on like what the main company does in regards to how they put out the titles again.
My Genesis is a Model 1. And the Model 1, because the way that it's like a huge dust magnet compared to like the Super Nintendo. The Model 2, cheapest I've ever seen it go for online is about $40 before sales tax and shipping.
Yeah.
But the cheaper ones go quickly, and then that just leaves the highly expensive ones left. And even though it would be nice to put an actual Model 2 Genesis back in the living room where we do the gameplay filming to complement next to the Super Nintendo, I'll be fucked if I'm paying hundreds of dollars when I know for a fact that people have been trying to get away with selling it for $40.
Yeah, the Model 1 I really like just because that's what I got for Christmas and everything. But along with like
excuse me,
like Sonic 2 was packed in with it, I think. Yeah.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that because that is the segue into our next discussion topic. And you can really make your stance on whether or not this counts. You can make your stance on whether or not this counts in the modern day with like a digital download available, or if it actually has to be physical. But what the hell happened to the days of pack-in titles, aside from the obvious answer of corporate greed? After all, why sell the system for $300 with one free game when you can get $300 for the system and an additional $60 for the game?
Well, I think that I have seen pack-ins with like for like the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Crowd.
I was actually going to chime in on that, Matt. You are correct on that sort of thing, though. Usually, most times when I see that, that's usually for like special edition sort of like things. Like essentially, like they're promoting something, and like with that, you also get the game as well. Like those are usually special editions, not usually with the actual console itself.
Yeah, and Nintendo does the same thing with like limited edition 3DS and Switches. The only thing is they do it strictly digital, where the game is either pre-installed on the system once you get it set up, or it's available in your re-downloads right away. I'm not exactly sure on how the because I've never bought a special edition digital, except for my Wii U, which came with a digital copy of Super Mario World pre-installed. And that was 2014, 2015-ish. I forget. I genuinely forget how I got the game onto the system or if it was already there. And again, like I said, it's a question of whether or not, if it's digital download, does it still qualify as a pack-in?
I would say it only qualifies as a pack-in if it's either on the system itself already, or like if it's like comes as like a cartridge along with the system in the box.
So digital if you don't need to redeem a download code, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like that's actually a good way to get someone started, save them a little money, and make yourself look pro-consumer. I mean, I got my Game Boy, but I didn't get it when it launched. I got it in the 90s because I was only 2 years old in 1989. So ain't no way I was old enough to understand, comprehend, or read, or even play video games.
Yeah.
But it's like, so I ended up getting a later model that didn't have Tetris packed into it. But, you know, back then, and not just because times were cheaper by then, rent was cheaper, everything was cheaper, but it's like that same kind of, you know, like I would buy, like going back to the old, and we're eventually going to address rumors and leaks to begin with in both the positives and the negatives. But regardless of some of the negatives that we're going to bring up on the show, it's like, let's say that the rumors of the Switch 2 come true. Flat out, I would definitely love to see a launch title, any launch title in Nintendo's choosing, in like the physical plastic box with the cartridge, ready to roll right when I open the system. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like those days were the good days. And I don't know, between the days of the N64, and this is just on the Nintendo spectrum, by the way, because I know so like companies pick and choose when they want to do pack-in titles, so we're going by like the Nintendo timeline for this, but like between the N64 and like digital distribution of special edition 3DS systems, when did it stop and why?
I think it stopped around like I'd say the GameCube era, wouldn't you? Or the GameCube, or
Kinda. I mean, I played on the GameCube in my teenage years, but the one that I own, I actually ended up getting for $30 at a GameStop back in 2010. So that was 13 years ago when I got my GameCube, and it was already off the market by then. Everything in the store was pretty much used. Yeah. Yes?
No, I'm stretching.
All your fists, cheer us on. Oh, you're going to kill me next time you see me in person.
Yeah, hide yourself.
Let's see. I can actually fit under this folding table that I use as a desk. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Good. Oh, popped my elbow.
That's your own fault.
I know. I am not as young as I used to be. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. And this is something that people in the comments and people in the chat can answer. Obviously, you know the rules. Comments, comment, post archiving. But if you could pick for the next generation system of your choosing, be it the next Xbox, be it the next PlayStation, be it the next Nintendo, what would you pick as a physical pack-in title? I'll go first. In terms of the next Nintendo, and this is going to be just based off, regardless of whether it's a split of a standalone console and a standalone hybrid, so a standalone console and a standalone handheld, or if they actually realize that they have a good thing with the hybridization and do that with all new consoles going forward. I would definitely say for the next generation post-Switch, just because of how well it sold, just because of how much of a follower. It is the most popular game in all of the Mario series. A physical pack-in title that would be perfect for Nintendo's next hybrid or standalone handheld, in my opinion, would be the next Mario Kart. Put that shit out day one, and I guarantee you there will be so many pre-orders that if scalpers tried taking them through their botting systems, that would be enough to get federal involvement to arrest every scalper and give everyone their property that they pre-ordered and paid for. Like I said, I have to check with my friend to double check the validity of the story. And just since it's probably never going to make a long-term topic, and I might as well take my licks and risk people hunting me down now, I call the supply and demand argument on scalping bullshit. Like, first off, you sell a concert ticket, you get taken to court and you pay a fine because you're scalping, you know? But my friend told me a story, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I know that the story is circumstantially true because of a video that Review Tech USA did, wherein people were calling in and reporting PS5s as stolen property. So when scalpers sold them, people were buying brick systems. But a friend of mine told me over in New Mexico, he went into GameStop, and people were being told that even though the PS5 had launched, the store was sold out. But I pre-ordered from this store. Well, we don't have anything physically in stock. Everything was shipped out on trucks. In other words, GameStop facilitated giving. What was it going right in the PS5 at launch at MSRP? Was it 500, 600, or 700?
I think it was like 600.
Yeah, 600.
$600 consoles. People put $600 plus sales tax down. The second they got their receipts, those systems legally became the property of the individuals. GameStop, if this story is true, GameStop facilitated in providing stolen property to scalpers. The second they told people, we don't have your pre-order, it's been shipped to somebody else. But imagine the vast amount of pre-orders on a Nintendo system with a Mario Kart physical pack-in title. There would be at least probably a few hundred people per store, per city here in the United States alone. There is no way that GameStop corporate, Nintendo of America, and more than likely, since it would involve going around the entire United States, the federal government itself would be able to just sit there and say, oh, we can't do anything about scalpers. Because at that point, you're going to basically get them on stolen property, on selling current era things at a higher price than they legally should be. Like, you buy something and then you resell it, that's your business, you know? Yeah. But it's like, but yeah. Flat out, because it will probably never become an in-depth topic, and the people who are for this are pretty much going to attack the channel at some point when we blow up. But scalping has to stop. It has to be illegal, and mass scalping of like PS5s, for example, got to be prosecuted to the point where only the insanely courageous, insanely stupid, or a mix of the two are winning. I guarantee you bring a harsh federal hammer down on this with serious prison time. How many people who scalp because they know they can get away with it and it'll never be prosecuted will continue to do it?
Fair.
Yep, numbers will decrease. But you two, your choice of pack-in titles for a future generation system. Go.
I'm thinking, Matt. I'll hand it over to you for now.
Okay, I think like for a PlayStation title, I think that if they made a PlayStation 6, they should probably pack in something like a new Crash Bandicoot title or something.
Ooh. He was originally the PlayStation mascot, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's all over. He's on the Xbox. He's on Nintendo.
Yeah.
How's the mascot life working for him?
Seems to be doing pretty good since they have a 4 now, you know.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Brent? Have you thought of it?
Yeah, well, since Gear mentioned Nintendo and you've mentioned PlayStation, I guess I'll take Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't play it. I mean, I played more of it when I was younger, but I do, unless it's changed recently, I'm pretty sure Call of Duty is still like a huge thing with Xbox. So releasing next generation.
Or with a bunch of 12-year-olds telling you what they'll do to your mother.
I know. I'm just saying, like, we're talking about like releasing something that definitely would catch people's attention. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, right now. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say, right now they're offering Diablo 4 in Xbox Series X.
Is that like a digital pack-in pre-installed, a physical pack-in, or is it just like on sale right now?
I really don't know.
Because, I mean, if it's on sale, I'd say people who are looking to get an Xbox should go for it if they like role-playing. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. I'm probably going to kick myself because I didn't check the time, and I'm still working on my budget for the month, but Metal Hellsinger is a game on Steam that I really want to get, and it's like, I know it either still is or was on sale for $15, and I'm still trying to figure out what can I do this month to allow me to get it, even though I've still got to get all the kinks of my laptop worked out before I can play it. In fact, I'm going to actually take a peek on the store. Stop right-clicking. That is a left click, damn you. The fuck? Okay, have it your way. Please note to everybody watching, I am not flipping you off. I am flipping off my computer and Steam because what the hell? That was a right click. Ooh, Guilty Gear is 50% off too. Ooh.
Strive or what?
XR, however you pronounce the XRD Rev 2.
Oh, Zerd.
Yeah,
I think.
Guilty Gear Zerd Rev 2. Yeah, you were the one who showed me that map before you moved.
Yeah.
It's been sitting there since then.
Yeah, it's pretty good for a Guilty Gear game. I mean, Strive's good too. I think. I just
I only saw a little bit of like Strive, but yeah.
Strive is a lot simpler to get into, and Zerd is a lot more like Guilty Gear headsets, with all the
Accent Core. I have that on the Switch. I used to have it on the PlayStation Portable, but I don't really use the PSP too often anymore. So
Yeah.
I still keep it around though, because
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to the next topic, and depending on whether or not we get some viewers and whatnot, it's probably going to be on record one of the shortest episodes we've ever done. But I guess there wasn't much you could say with the first two topics, but it lasts as long as it lasts,
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like what? Okay, I gotta confer to my notes because I already forget the exact way that this was phrased, and I want to say it properly because I am not looking at the YouTube description. I am in the Restream studio, so things that can ruin potentially good games. Brent, did I do that right?
You nailed it right on the head. And
take us away.
All right, I'll go with just a little bit more clarification for this. I'm referring specifically to, and you guys can provide examples of what you think can actually make a game that you see that looks promising or that you are playing first, but then the decision is made that potentially can ruin it irreversibly. I think I'll start with one of the biggest ones that unfortunately exists out there, whether intentionally or unintentionally, pay to win. And I've got a couple of examples for that, unless one of you guys wants to take the floor first.
Before you give the examples, just let me say, unless you are a whale and a huge support of the freemium model, I have to say, I'm willing to bet nobody's going to disagree with you on that. Go ahead, take us away.
Okay, I've got two separate examples for this. One that I haven't played but know about. I'm pretty sure practically everyone knows about it. And they're one that I did play and learn through personal experience. I'll start with the one that probably everyone knows about. Anyone familiar with the game Battlefront 2, the Star Wars game?
Yeah.
I've not played it, but I'm familiar with it.
The most recent one, not the one that was made for back during the original Xbox. Really great game. Played it with my best friend a lot of times. And yes, he did kick my ass.
I'm more familiar with the old one than the new one, so.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that here's the thing. I have seen some people play the game as it is right now, and while it's definitely lost a lot of its community, I've seen these people actually have fun playing it. But when they made it originally, it had loot boxes in it, and unfortunately, these loot boxes also unlocked things like characters, abilities, and other such stuff that essentially, people, not only, again, does it fall into, sort of gambling and, loot box related stuff, but anyone who got lucky enough to get, the good stuff had an unfair advantage against anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really killed the, the enjoyment of there. As of right now, those loot boxes are completely gone, and they have put in different content into there. As I think of it right now, game itself looks fun, but definitely too late to redeem. Bring in a new base into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now,
go ahead.
Oh no! You chime in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go out and I'm gonna say it. Well, first off, I went ahead and said, what the hell? I'm going to use that. I'm going to put that $2 towards taking $2 more off the Metal Hellsinger. So that's going to be, that's currently installing. I hope to be able to figure out a way to get XR Zerd sooner than later. But, anyway. And I don't talk about them very much because I feel that they've just gone from calling out corruption in the gaming industry to just using the gaming industry as a means to promote generalized politics, which is why I don't watch them too often. But Jim Sterling has actually showed video footage from actual developer conferences, mostly in the European region, of some of these mobile game app developers. And what they said, would be circumstantial here in a court of law. The way they worded it, it was basically more or less, you do this to prey on children to make more money. But one of the video clips that Jim Sterling showed in one of their Jimquisition episodes a few years back was a guy. I think his name was Tor or something like that. He was from Eastern or Northern European, maybe Scandinavian. But he's a part of a mobile game developer company, and he was giving a workshop. And in the video footage, he's basically saying, make it so that the children will feel like they're going to be bullied if they don't buy loot boxes, if they don't continue to give us their money so that they can get the rare skins. You have to make it so that, everybody else who's paying for it and getting it, you're not going to be popular if you don't give us your money and do that too. How is that not preying on children and getting them to spend money that they really don't need to be spending? And yet somehow, in America, that kind of thinking is somehow legal. And that's just not for pay to win. That's microtransactions and loot boxes in general.
Yeah, that's sort of like what we discussed before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like in Mario Kart Tour, I will admit that on the occasion I do buy like a $3.99 cart or glider if I really, really want it. But I don't regularly spend on microtransactions. Like they're not getting my money on a daily or weekly basis for like rubies.
Mm-hmm.
So you can argue I paid for DLC, but never for a microtransaction.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, they've got to take less of a predatory view on it and more of a, yeah, we're greedy. We're putting the rare stuff behind the paywalls. Buy it or suck it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, let's see. Matt, what do you think are things that can potentially ruin good games? Oh, you're not done?
I wasn't done with the second example.
Oh. Oops.
The second example, this was a game I played when I first got the PS4 from our friend Stefan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I found this like online game called Warface, which is kind of like a Call of Duty, only except it's free to play and it's a little bit different. You actually like, as you level up, you unlock like, new equipment, new like weapons and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. You get this through either ranking up or through like, you can pay for this sort of stuff. And to be fair to it, the guns do rotate. So it's not like, a constant thing. But the thing was is that there's two separate sort of modes in it, co-op and multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
And I played more co-op because in multiplayer, there are so many people who have either grinded for a very long time or in many other cases, just paid and bought a new weapon that I'm getting killed by them 18 times in one match.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fun. I am not having fun. I'm just getting spawned and shot in the face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, co-op, definitely fun.
Mm-hmm.
But that's sort of what I mean is like, that's what I mean is like pay to win can suck the joy out of like any kind of online game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was all I really wanted to speak on. Just wanted to get that one out there because I don't think it's as bad as it was with Battlefront 2 because, you can also get this stuff by grinding, so it's not like as bad as like Battlefront 2 where you had to pay if you want to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyways, we were going to you, Matt. What do you think?
I think that that for me, I mean, besides obviously, the pay to win and stuff and predatory DLCs, there's also like as far as like game mechanics goes. There's like one thing I don't like is like when I'm playing through like an arcadey sort of game, or if I'm playing through a role playing game and I had already saved somewhere, right? And I'm I have to redo a boss fight or something. One thing I hate is unskippable cutscenes.
We've been dealing with that in Super Paper Mario every time we get our asses handed to us in a boss fight.
Yeah.
Well, technically, they're not like completely unskippable because we can just skip through the text.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just like
everybody already read it. The first
no,
time.
it's basically this is basically gear. Whenever we're going through this, tell me this is not you during one of those cutscenes.
It is.
Yeah, but I know which ones you're talking about, Matt. The ones where it's like you can't like skip through like dialogue or fast forward through any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a bit of a pain. I mean, there are certain games where they actually are at least smart enough to. I can't name examples, but I do know there's some where it's like if you've seen the cutscene once and you die and have to go back through it, you actually have the option to skip over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are plenty out there who do not do that.
Yeah.
Ace Attorney doesn't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And then
again, it also has like the fast forward option to begin with as soon as you've already seen a scene. So even if you don't get a game over, if you have to press something a second time or if you get penalized and have to redo something, Yeah.
Well, that's more of a visual novel, isn't it? Sort of.
Yeah, but unskippable cutscenes in general, I feel, could be pretty bad depending on the game, especially a lengthy game like a visual novel.
Yeah, even though it's not technically it's more of a scene than actually, like, say, a cutscene. It still falls into the same category. You're saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to bring up, like, I'd say games where, like, where you have save points, and like, but the save points are so far from each other that it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a real pain to get from one to the other. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you should have a save point every 5 minutes, but it is nice when you can save anytime, or you can just, like, there's a good save point at, like, before a boss fight or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should always be able to save before a boss fight, make sure you don't need to regroup. And, yeah, it's like going back to, like, that also goes back to a Super Paper Mario example. Like, we're pretty much 2 chapters away from finishing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Low on coins, barely any healing items. We have to fight Dementio. We have to fight the Count Bleck fight, which is basically jump on him while he's invincible to get the next cutscene to fight him. And then the final boss, which I'm not going to openly spoil, even though everybody and their brother already knows who it is. Jump on him because he's invincible, and he's the biggest pain in the ass. And I got to go through all those cutscenes again, but worse, we have to go through the entire Chapter 8 if we go back to restock.
Well, I mean, granted, we know what we're doing through Chapter 8, so it's not going to be that big of a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, because, like, for me, I think, like, I'm very casual. I'm very easygoing. I'm the guy who says, and this is going to be a very loaded topic that we're going to discuss in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kind of guy who's like, there's a difference between a challenge and the CPU just cheating.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some very good Pokemon-related examples in more modern day of the CPU just blatantly breaking the rules that the player has to follow.
Oh, I know you do. You've told me quite a few.
Iron Leaves. Anyway, but it's like, I'm very casual, I'm very easygoing, but I'm also the guy who, even if a game is brutally tough and kicking my ass and I need someone's help, if I'm enjoying it and I'm still having fun, that's what matters. But I feel that there are a lot of things that can ruin even the simplest and most casualist of games, including stuff that, like, is already out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, let me pop over to the shelf and look at my Switch collection for a quick example.
Mm-hmm.
I got nothing. I am going to say, in terms of, like, the Nintendo Switch, though, and this is always going to be a point of contention on the channel, whether somebody is a regular or they're new to the channel and haven't heard the opinion yet. As far as I'm concerned, the Switch is a portable first and a home console that hooks up to the TV second. So games that are motion control exclusive cannot play them without motion controls. That ruins the overall experience of gaming on the go. And touchscreen-based games are also not off the hook. Like, look, I've heard bad things about World Ends With You motion controls on the Switch. I haven't tried them out for myself, and I do love that on my Switch Lite, I can play it just with the touchscreen controls and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good game. I love it. I would say if you got $17, buy the original DS version. If you're okay paying $50, get it on the Switch. But, like, it's still not off the hook. They should have found a way to incorporate button-based controls into the Switch remake.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, I agree. There should be control schemes for, for every type of player.
Yeah, it's like make the control schemes available for what the console is based around.
Mhm.
Like, I really want to get WarioWare Move It because I love WarioWare.
Mhm.
But if I can't pop it into my Switch Lite and play it while I'm out and about, what's the point in spending $60? Because I only use the big Switch in the living room for couch multiplayer at this point, and occasionally Splatoon 3 Splatfests.
Mhm.
I would rarely ever play it outside of doing the occasional stream on the channel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I granted there are some games that even if you don't play them very often, they're worth keeping, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. But it's like at the same time, when it's a game that you're really looking forward to and you're barely going to have the opportunity to play it, why?
Mhm.
Like, I get Super Mario RPG Remake in November. You can guarantee that's going to be taking up a lot of my gaming time.
Mhm.
Gonna finally give Croco what for.
Mhm.
I hate him.
Mm-hmm.
The other things that can ruin a potentially good game. Let's see. I had stuff and it slipped my senile little mind.
Well, for some people, I think it's like one complaint I've heard is like a toxic community.
Oh, definitely. We said it when we talked about like online communities and multiplayer.
Yeah.
Respect.
Mhm.
Respect. Not everybody is going to play at your speed, at your difficulty. Some people are going to play games for fun, not for competition.
Mhm.
We as gamers have to be better.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like somebody says to me, "Oh, you don't IV train your Pokemon and give them competitive move sets. You shouldn't be playing Pokemon at all. You're a bad person."
Mhm.
I mean, you're the jackass whining about it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Because like I played and this is I want to say around the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire release. Midnight
Mhm.
release. I played in a tournament at GameStop down in Davie, where I was living.
Mhm.
And my first opponent knocked me out in the first round.
Mhm.
Knocked me out of the tournament. And do you know what he said after he beat me?
What?
That was fun. I hope we get to battle again.
Mhm.
He was a pro level player, has played in
Mhm.
actual local tournaments, knows the ins and outs of competitive battling, and
Mhm.
he didn't care who his opponent was. All he
Mhm.
cared about was that other people who like Pokemon wanted to battle with him and was happy to accept any opponent regardless of their skill level.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I highly doubt he was just doing it. He was doing the good sportsman thing just because it was organized at a GameStop.
Mhm.
If he wanted to, he could have completely been a jackass when no one was looking, but he chose to be a decent guy.
Mhm.
And that's more of what the community needs to be.
I totally
gaming
agree.
communities in general. Yeah.
I mean, like, and obviously, I'm going to talk about fighting games, but you know, there's a lot of toxicity in that.
Yeah.
But I think they're trying to get better about it, so that's good.
That is good. You got to start telling the more toxic people who don't want to change, because I never remember if his last name was Fine or Rich,
Mhm.
but that Andrew guy over
Mhm.
in, I think it was Kansas, I think. He was killed in a swatting incident, and he wasn't related to the game.
Mhm.
That incident that happened in late 2017, early 2018,
Yeah.
that happened over competitive gamers being toxic.
Mhm.
This guy was trying to be a jackass and not play at a competitive level in a Call of Duty match. His teammate threatened to dox him, and he looked up a random address and gave it to him. And as a result of that toxic, overly competitive behavior, a completely innocent man who had, and they're older now, but they were 2 and 7 at the time, 2 children and a wife, was killed.
Yeah, that's definitely bad.
Yeah, and we're still in an era where people are like, swatting and doxing. You know, that's harmless. What are you going to do? Get a pizza? Apparently, you're going to get a fucking bullet.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not a wake-up call that we need to do better and bring the toxicity in the gaming community down, I don't know what will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Toxic community is a very good way, not just to ruin a game, but to ruin a whole franchise. If people get turned off, they don't want to be a part of the community anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Have we
If
gone
you have
through
any
everybody?
ideas, what?
I said, has everybody said their opinions or? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, do we have any more opinions on what could or could not ruin? Other than that, if we can think of a quick, short bonus topic, I think it's going to be business as usual for the stream tonight.
Yeah.
Any ideas you do?
Hmm.
I got one.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to kind of cheat here and bring it around that this probably won't become an in-depth topic in the future. So just let me pull up my notes. Because I've got the best story ever, and people can actually see it on the channel itself. This isn't even in my notes, so I can make it work. The best. Oh wait, let me check my side notes. Yeah, I have notes for every fucking thing here. Okay. Well, it's officially most intense party match, but I'm just gonna call it best/favorite/ most intense party match moment ever. When we streamed Mario Party 3 and the CPU Luigi on Waluigi's Island was running around the action time dynamite detonation space until we fucking warped his ass to another point in the board. That was comic gold.
Yes.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be Mario Party, just party games, party matches in general.
Well, for me, it was like Bomberman.
One that we played together, or just in general?
No, like I used to play Bomberman with like my my best friend at the time, and we would play Mega Bomberman on the Genesis.
Nice.
And like so the fun thing was that you could have like dinosaurs with you. I think they were called roos or something.
Weren't those like kangaroos or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyways, they all had special abilities, so it made the game just hilarious because a lot of times if you knew how to use the special abilities, we would end up always getting a draw.
Nice.
So the games would go on forever and ever.
Oh yeah. Brent?
Me. Not really coming up with anything that sticks out too much.
Aren't you there during when Devin made his Mario Party Rage video? Like, weren't you one of the people filming that?
Oh yeah. I was thinking more myself personally that other people haven't been a part of.
Oh well, no, a party match in general with people you played with or just something you've done against CPUs doesn't really matter as long as it was
For context, me, my friends, let's see, it was me, Devin, Stefan. I can't remember. Sorry?
Yeah, you, Devin, Stefan.
I can't remember if there was another person there or not. So I'm trying to remember.
Devin would probably remember. I can ask him sometime.
All right, but anyways, throughout the entirety of it, my friend Devin gets a bit competitive during times. Not too badly competitive, but definitely was raging quite a storm up there. One particular moment I remember was we were doing the trace game, and I legitimately thought I did the worst. Like, I was not in the line. And I was like, as we were going through towards the end, I thought to myself, like, yeah, I think I'm the one who lost, and everyone except him, Devin, succeeded. I was like, how?
I know Crazy Cutter was really bad back in the day. I think they fixed it up in Superstars.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, but that video like turned into some real comic gold. Like the first time he showed it to me, I was at his place. I was on the floor laughing. I was whether he wants to like do like some faux rage just for the lulz, or actually wants to show some of the funniest things he's done when competing against his friends is like that was comic gold. That was hilarious. Like I looked down at my computer to do something, and I just hear like him screaming penis and fuck in time to a rhythm. I look up, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then there was one time where Stefan did a massive dick move. I forget exactly what it is, but you know the one where it's like, you know, like you're on top of a like platform, it tilts forward and you have to jump to one?
Teetering Towers. Yeah, it's the one
Teetering Towers, yeah. He was doing one of those, and he was like, you know, I think it was at the second time he did. He's like, okay, I got this. Stefan discovered that anyone, even though it's a one-player game, can pause the game. So he paused it and fucked him up.
Dick move compilation at its finest.
Yeah, Devin was not happy for that one.
I wouldn't have been either. It's like, come on, let the man play his one-player game and just focus on what you're supposed to screw people over in the competitive games or you're playing together. You're supposed to screw them over by using items, stealing their stars. When you're gonna screw people over in Mario Party, do it fair.
Yeah.
I know that's an oxymoron. One more I'll close us out on. One of my personal favorite moments from a good party match, and yes, I count Super Smash Brothers, because when you think of fighting games, you tend to think of either beat 'em ups or two-player arcade style, all Street Fighter. Old channel, we were still dicking around with the phone videos, and we were playing Ultimate with the only Bob-ombs item on. And Matt has the Bob-omb in his hand. I'm like, let me have it. Let me have it.
Okay.
What did he do?
He
threw it at me and launched me.
Yeah.
Well, he let you have it.
I asked for it. That was my fault.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's the kind of thing where you cannot replicate that. We could sit down and we could try to replicate that as a group with the capture card, and it would not have the same impact and effect because we know what we're doing at that point.
Yeah.
He fucking chucked that thing at me. Heat of the moment, like, yeah, I'm gonna be a smartass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, I think that's gonna call it here. We will see you all in the next one. So until then, bye.
See ya.
Bye.